Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're exploring something really compelling from our forces. This idea that, your inner world, it's not just reflecting reality. It might actually be creating it.
That's the core of it.
So just imagine, what if the things you genuinely assume about yourself, deep down, literally construct your experience?
It's a huge question, isn't it? And that brings us right to the focus of this deep dive, the law of assumption.
Right.
Specifically as taught by the mystic Neville Goddard. And we're really zooming in on self-concept within that framework.
Okay.
Our goal today is to, really unpack it, the theory, the psychology behind it, and the practical ways to use it, all based on what we found in the source material.
And for you listening, think of this as a way to really get a handle on a potentially life-changing idea.
Hopefully some aha moments.
Exactly. About how this works, why it's so significant, and maybe, just maybe, how you're already shaping your life with this power, maybe without even realizing it. So, okay, let's start right there at the foundation. What exactly is self-concept in this Neville Goddard context? It sounds familiar, maybe from psychology.
It does sound familiar, yeah. But Neville's take is, well, it's potent. It's not just a collection of beliefs about yourself, like traits, abilities, values, roles.
Right.
It's that these beliefs form the actual lens through which you view everything. They dictate how you interpret experiences.
So like an operating system.
Exactly. It's your fundamental operating system. And crucially, Neville emphasizes how much of this runs unconsciously. It shapes reality without you necessarily being aware of how.
And the sources mentioned those three components interacting.
Okay.
Self-image.
Right, how you see yourself, appearance, personality, roles.
Self-esteem, how much value you place on yourself. And the ideal self, who you want to be.
Exactly. And the key insight here, going beyond just psychology, is how the harmony or the dissonance between these isn't just an inner feeling. Neville taught that it's the very engine driving your external reality. Harmony brings ease, dissonance brings struggle, outwardly.
Wow.
And while, psychology looks at upbringing, society.
Sure, the usual influences.
Right. Neville's view is incredibly empowering. He basically said, look, you can reshape your self-concept deliberately, anytime, through assumption. Your past doesn't have to dictate it.
It's not fixed.
Not at all. It's completely moldable.
Okay, this is where it gets really fascinating.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Neville Goddard himself. Who was this guy? What was his, core message?
Neville Goddard lived from 1905 to 1972, a really unique voice in spiritual teaching. His absolute core philosophy, and he was very direct about this, was imagination is God.
Not a metaphor.
Not a metaphor. He meant it literally. Your own imagination, your awareness of being what he called your I am, is the creative power of the universe.
That's a huge claim.
It is, and everything he taught flowed from that. The idea that by consciously directing your imagination, you create your reality.
Which leads us straight to his famous law of assumption. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and live in the end. Sounds simple, almost. Too simple.
Well, the depth is in that simplicity, It's radical. It doesn't mean just thinking about what you want.
Yeah.
It means actually becoming, internally, the person who already has it, feeling it real.
Okay. And how does that tie back directly to the self-concept we were talking about?
It's the absolute link. Your persistent assumptions about yourself, that ingrained self-concept, determine your life experiences.
So, if I assume I'm unlucky,
then your world tends to reflect that back to you. Experiences will seem to confirm it. If you assume you're unwanted, you'll interpret events through that lens.
versus assuming you're successful or loved.
Exactly. The outer world, according to Neville, isn't separate. It's just an externalization, a mirror of your dominant self-concept, your deepest assumptions about who you are.
Okay, so that internal shift,
Yeah.
how does it actually cause changes out there in the real world? It's not like waving a wand. Neville talked about a mechanism, didn't he?
He did, a really interesting one. He called it the bridge of incidence.
Bridge of incidents.
Okay, the idea is once you truly assume something, you feel it as real, you embody that state, life itself starts to rearrange naturally.
Naturally.
Yeah, through a series of events. They often seem perfectly normal, even mundane, maybe unexpected coincidences.
Yeah.
But they lead directly to the fulfillment of your assumption.
So you don't have to figure out the how.
Exactly. Your job isn't to plan the steps on the bridge. Your job is just to maintain that new self-concept, that feeling of the wish fulfilled without wavering. You let the universe handle the orchestration.
That sounds like it requires some serious mental discipline. especially if, your bank account or relationship status isn't showing the change yet.
It definitely does, and that's where the sources highlight two really crucial techniques Neville taught for maintaining that inner state.
Okay, what are they?
Revision and the mental diet.
A revision, like editing the past.
Sort of, yeah. Revision is powerful. You take a past memory, maybe something that reinforces an old, unwanted self-concept.
Like a failure or rejection.
Exactly. And you mentally rewrite it. You replay it in your imagination as you wished it had happened, feeling the feelings of the revised scene until it feels real. It changes the meaning of the past to align with who you are now assuming yourself to be.
Wow, okay. And the mental diet?
That's more of a continuous practice. It's like being a gatekeeper for your mind.
How so?
You constantly monitor your thoughts, your inner conversations, and you consciously refuse to entertain any thought or feeling that contradicts the self-concept you're choosing to embody.
So if you're assuming wealth, you shut down thoughts of lack.
Precisely. You don't argue with them, you just turn away. You replace them with thoughts that align with your desired state. It's about keeping your inner world clean, essentially.
Which leads us to maybe the toughest part for many people, persistence and faith.
Very tough.
Because doing a mental diet for an hour is one thing, but sticking with it when nothing seems to be changing outwardly. What did Neville really mean by faith? It wasn't blind belief, was it?
No, not blind belief in something external. For Neville, faith was loyalty. Loyalty to the unseen reality you've assumed within yourself.
Loyalty to the new self-concept.
Exactly. It means staying true to that inner state, that feeling of the wish fulfilled, even when your senses, your current circumstances, seem to deny it.
So it's trust in your own inner assumption.
It's radical trust in your own imaginative power, your I am. Knowing that the bridge of incidents is unfolding, even if you can't see it yet, you just stay put emotionally in the end result.
Okay, so for listeners who are thinking, right, I want to try this, I want to consciously change my self-concept, what's the practical roadmap? What steps did Neville suggest?
He laid out a pretty clear 4-step process in the teachings.
Okay.
First, identify your current self-concept, and this requires real honesty.
Brutal honesty.
Pretty much, yeah. List your underlying assumptions. What do you really believe about yourself regarding love, money, health, your worth, intelligence? What are those default stories running in the background?
Got it. So know where you are now.
Exactly. Then, step 2. Define your desired self-concept.
The new you.
The new you. Write it out. Be specific. Who would you be if your desires were already real? What beliefs would you hold? How would you feel, walk, talk, react? Make it vivid. It's your blueprint.
Okay, blueprint created. Then what?
Step 3. Assume the new identity. This is the active part. Daily, consistent practice.
Using those techniques.
Using techniques like imaginal scenes, affirmations, scripting whatever resonates to constantly impress this new self onto your subconscious. Consistency, Neville stressed, is key, non-negotiable.
Then the final step.
Step 4. Live from the end. This is crucial. You start thinking, feeling, and acting from the perspective of the person who already has what you desire.
So it informs your decisions.
Everything. Your decisions, your posture, how you speak to people, how you react to situations. You become that person now, internally, before the external world fully catches up.
Let's get even more concrete. What were some of Neville's go-to tools for actually embedding this new self-concept?
He offered several really practical methods. Affirmations are a big one, but used correctly. Positive statements in the present tense, like I am confident and successful, but the key is repeating them with feeling until they feel natural, like the truth.
Okay. What else?
Scripting. This is like writing a diary entry from the future, but as if it's already happened.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, you write out your ideal day or a specific event filled with emotions, sensory details, expressing gratitude for it having happened. It really immerses you in the feeling.
And didn't he have a favorite technique involving sleep?
Ah, yes. SATIS. The state akin to sleep, probably his most emphasized technique.
How does that work?
We get into a really relaxed, drowsy state, like just before falling asleep or just after waking up. Your conscious mind is quiet then.
Right.
And in that state, you imagine a short, simple scene which implies your wish is already fulfilled. Not the wish itself, but something that would happen after it was fulfilled.
Like shaking someone's hand in congratulations.
Exactly. Or feeling a wedding ring on your finger. Something simple that implies the end result. And you loop that scene, feeling the reality of it until you drift off to sleep.
Why is that drowsy state so important?
Because it bypasses the critical factor of the conscious mind. It allows the feeling, the impression, to sink directly into the subconscious, which Neville saw as the creative powerhouse.
Makes sense. Any others?
Definitely visualization and feeling,
Yeah.
really picturing yourself as this new person, but focusing heavily on the associated feelings, the joy, the relief, the confidence, the abundance. The feeling is the secret. And finally, inner conversations.
Monitoring your internal chatter.
Exactly. Actively managing that inner dialogue, catching negative self-talk and consciously shifting it, speaking to yourself lovingly, encouragingly as the person you're assuming yourself to be.
Beyond all these techniques, there's clearly a deep spiritual philosophy here. It's not just mind hacks.
Oh, absolutely not. It's profoundly spiritual at its core. Neville constantly talked about God in you.
And that relates back to I am.
Precisely. He taught that I am, your fundamental awareness of being, is the name of God. It's the creative power. So whatever you attach to I am in your consciousness
Becomes your reality.
that's the idea. I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am loved.
You are declaring your reality into existence through your state of being.
And this connects to ideas like oneness.
Yes, the concept of oneness and unity. There's no separation between you and God or you and your desire. You are the operant power. You're the creator of your experience through your assumptions. Faith, again, is just trusting this inner power, trusting the reality you've assumed in imagination until it hardens into fact.
It's like self-concept is the soil.
And your assumption is the seed you plant in it. What grows is determined by that seed.
And the sources, they're filled with stories of this actually working for people, right? Not just theory.
Absolutely. Real-life examples are key to understanding this. People achieving financial abundance, not by specific actions necessarily, but by first assuming the feeling of security and wealth, changing their self-concept around money.
Finding romantic love. By shifting from feeling unwanted or lonely to deeply knowing and feeling themselves as loved and cherished. Changing the inner self-concept attracted the outer reflection.
Even health and vitality.
Yes, people overcoming illness by refusing to identify with the sickness, by persistently assuming a state of perfect health in their imagination and feeling.
And career success, too.
Definitely. Achieving recognition or landing the perfect job often came after the person first became internally the successful, recognized individual they desired to be. They changed their self-concept first.
Of course, it probably doesn't always feel easy. What are the common roadblocks people hit when trying to apply this?
Yeah, the sources acknowledge challenges. Doubt and fear are huge. They naturally arise from those old, ingrained self-concepts.
So what's the advice? Fight them.
Not really fight them, but consistently replace them. When doubt comes up, you gently pivot back to your desired state, your affirming seeing or feeling. Persistence is key.
What about the time it takes? Things don't always happen overnight.
Right, the perceived time delay.
Yeah.
That can really test your faith. Neville taught to use that time delay not as a reason to doubt, but as an opportunity to deepen your conviction, to keep living in the end.
And looking outside for proof.
Another big one. Seeking external validation, constantly checking the 3D world to see if it's working. That actually undermines the process because the external reflects the internal. You have to turn within.
Okay.
And lastly, impatience. Getting frustrated, which again usually reveals underlying doubt. The solution is always the same. Return to the end. Assume it's done. Feel it now.
So knowing these pitfalls, how can listeners really integrate this into daily life? Make it a way of being, not just a technique session.
It's about weaving it in. The sources suggest things like a consistent morning routine,
How so?
starting the day, immediately stepping into your desired self-concept, maybe with affirmations, a quick visualization, feeling gratitude for what you've assumed is already yours, setting the tone.
And evenings.
And evening reflection is powerful too, reinforcing that identity before sleep, perhaps with scripting or essays, letting your subconscious work on it overnight.
What about setbacks? Bad days happen.
See them not as failures, but as tests of persistence, opportunities to really choose your new state despite appearances, to deepen the assumption.
And celebrating the small stuff.
Absolutely. Celebrating progress. Notice every small shift. Maybe you reacted differently to something. Maybe a small synchronicity occurred. Acknowledge it as evidence of your changing inner state. It builds momentum.
And this internal work, it actually impacts others too.
Profoundly. Your self-concept shapes how others perceive you and consequently how they treat you. Changing your inner assumptions about yourself can genuinely transform relationships. And ultimately, living from your desired state empowers your unique contribution to the world.
So wrapping this up, The core message seems incredibly empowering.
It really is. Neville Goddard's law of assumption fundamentally puts the power back where it belongs, within you.
Your self-concept isn't fixed.
Not at all. It's dynamic, it's moldable, and it's constantly shaping your world based on what you assume to be true.
There's that powerful quote from Neville in the source material.
Ah, yes. Dare to believe in the reality of your assumption and watch the world play its part relative to its fulfillment.
Dare to believe. I like that.
It takes courage sometimes, loyalty to that inner vision.
So maybe a final thought for everyone listening to ponder.
Considering everything we've dug into today, if you knew, truly knew, that adopting a single self-concept could reshape your entire reality, which one would you choose to step into, starting right now?
Something to really think about. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.